Hello, welcome to episode 339 of the Daily Sales Message Podcast, where every single day I share a piece of simple and actionable advice. It's designed to help me feel more confident and sell more stuff. No, it's designed to help you feel more confident and sell more stuff. Honestly, you'd think after this many episodes, the quality in the profession would go up. It's very much going down. So sorry for that. Yes, you should feel more confident and sell more stuff. That's why I'm here. Loads of stuff that I talk about and share here is simple, it's actionable, it's free, and by my own admission and recognition, it ain't rocket science. A lot of stuff I talk about, pretty straightforward stuff, you're just probably not doing it, or you never thought to do it. And that's fine. You're busy running your business, doing whatever you're doing. There's no shame in that. But it's really, really simple, easy piece of stuff you can implement. All right, I'm going to get off my soapbox. Right, in today's episode, 339. Have you ever had somebody ghost you, ignore you, having a conversation back and forth on email, on DM, text message, WhatsApp, or even in phone calls, etc. And then all of a sudden, they're gone. They disappear. I'm sure you've had that happen to you. Have you had this happen to you, though, where that person disappears and you're desperately trying to kind of understand it? So, hi, James. How are you? Oh, it's been a while since we spoke. Have you thought about this? Just touching base and checking in and blah, 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 and sending all these kind of follow-ups. And they still ignore you. And then that's it. One of the things we have to recognize, there's two things really. First of all, when you're speaking to somebody, particularly if it's a cold outreach, you don't really know who they are, and you're trying to initiate a relationship and a conversation, they don't actually owe you a response. They don't owe you a response. So for somebody to stop responding to you, well, that might feel a little bit rude. That's kind of okay in this scenario. They don't owe you a response. You're trying to sell to them. You're kind of interrupting them, as it were, by emailing them or messaging them or whatever. They don't owe you a response. And when people take this approach of like, oh, you haven't come back to me, you're rude, you owe me this, you don't owe anybody a response. Absolutely not. If somebody's cold messaging you, you don't really, it's polite to do so, but you don't owe them a response. But the second thing is this, which is the nature of this episode. Behavior is a language. Behavior is a form of communication. And you know this is true because if you're talking to somebody who's trying to sell to you, or anything really, and you just start ignoring them, you eject from the conversation. You might even block them on your phone, depending on who they are and what the situation is. By disengaging from the conversation and moving away or blocking them, that is your way of saying to them, this is over. Without actually investing the time and effort or confront, you might be embarrassed or not sure or nervous. And it's and particularly, I'm British, a lot of 47% of the people listening to this podcast are British. We're very, very polite and nervous about talking to people, and it's very difficult for me to say, hello James, old chap, yes, I've decided I don't like you, or I've decided to use somebody cheaper, or whatever, blah blah blah. It's much easier for me to pull the ripcord, eject a seat out of that conversation. Behavior is a language. So if somebody goes to you, somebody disappears, they stop replying to your messages all of a sudden, and even your follow-ups they stop, just take the hint. Take the hint. It's horrible to follow people who don't come back to you. It's fruitless. And it's very common, unfortunately. So let's just be grown up about it. If somebody's ignoring you, not come back to you, behavior is a language. They're probably trying to tell you they're not interested in the same way you do that when you buy things and you're a bit stuck in a conversation. I'm sure you've ignored people, not come back to them, etc. Whether it's the start of the conversation or whether it's through a series of messages and all of a sudden you kind of drop off. Behavior is a form of communication. Behavior is a language. They're telling you they're not interested. So stop pursuing them. And then we rely on literally the maxim of all maxims in my business, which is don't chase them, replace them. So rather than focusing your time on just endlessly following up and chasing that person, trying to understand where did they go, what happened, don't worry about it. Just find 10 more of them. Put that effort that you're going to put into following them up into finding 10, 5, 50, 100 more, whatever the number is appropriate for your business. But basically, a lot more of them. Because when you speak to more people, you have more options. With options, there's less pressure. And pressure repels bias. So behavior is a form of communication. Behavior is a language. If somebody's ignoring you, they're not coming back to you, they've ghosted you, take the hint, respect what they're trying to tell you, just move on. No hard feelings. Don't chase them, replace them. Right, well, it's a bit of a long episode today. Sorry about that. Tomorrow in episode 340, we're talking about magicians, as I hard swallow. We're talking about magicians tomorrow and how magicians relate to salespeople. And there's something in particular that you need to bear in mind about magicians and salespeople. It's going to be a weird one tomorrow, isn't it? I'll tell you more about that in tomorrow's episode. In the meantime, if you haven't already, please hop on over to sellingconfidencescore.com. That's sellingconfidencescore.com. There is a 2-minute 20-question quiz where you can find out how well you're doing at selling, what your number one barrier might be or what's holding you back. And more importantly, you'll get a personalized instant action plan based on your answers that will help you to move forward in the right direction. Thank you for listening and watching all the way to the end. I'll catch you tomorrow for an abracadabra related edition of the Daily Sales Message.